Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about the Supreme Court of the United States, specifically how we just got a new appointed judge. Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed this weekend. Lots of people are having reactions to that. Obviously, the right-wingers and conservatives are very excited. She's a very accomplished judge. She's very much in tune with Christian American conservative values. She will judge the Constitution and hand down rulings that are going to be fair and unbiased. But the Democrats are obviously triggered. They don't like the idea of Trump appointing someone, especially a woman. They kind of resent that because she's a monumental kind of female being added to this court that's only had a handful of female judges over its history. So she's going to be part of a legacy of Trump. Trump has appointed 3 judges now just by chance. He happened to be there at the time when 3 different judges had either stepped down or passed away. And this is the reason Democrats are super upset. Amy Coney Barrett is a sort of surrogate of Trump to them. And that's why they've been attacking her and trying their best to shame her and her supporters. And that's what brings up today's story. Today, we're talking about how a certain group called the Girl Scouts, they supported Amy Coney Barrett because of obvious reasons. Girl Scouts is a girl-based group that supports them, gives them activities in schools. They're the ones that sell cookies and earn badges and do sewing stuff and other fun things like that. And they congratulated Amy Coney Barrett because they're like, hey, this woman became a judge. This is great. Let's congratulate her. That seems all fine and dandy in a normal world. That wouldn't be controversial. If they did that 5 or 10 years ago, no one would think twice about it. But we are in 2020. We are in current year. And this obviously triggered a lot of leftists. And since they have so much control, so much sway, so much capital in the big tech arenas, this forced the Girl Scouts to delete their tweet in shame. I mean, it sucks. I can understand it though, because they're just trying to be this unbiased organization. I'm not sure how much bias is actually in there. I'm not too familiar with Girl Scouts. I haven't heard any stories about them yet. But in this case, they had to kowtow and delete their tweet, which is really upsetting because, like I said, they're just supporting another woman. They're about girl power. This should be like a feminist moment. But regardless, as this article says, Girl Scouts delete social media congratulations to Amy Coney Barrett on Supreme Court seat after angry backlash. The Girl Scouts sparked a wave of angry comments and praise with Facebook and Twitter posts congratulating the conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett for her controversial appointment to the Supreme Court. Congratulations, Amy Coney Barrett, on becoming the 5th woman appointed to the Supreme Court since its inception in 1789, the post said. The Girl Scouts later deleted the post. So that's about the gist of the story. You could see a picture of these Girl Scouts here. This is something you might see in an American neighborhood. As I said, they're most famous for selling their Girl Scout cookies. Girl Scout cookies are rather tasty, rather delicious. They have lots of flavors like the Samoa, the Thin Mint, other things like that. They're delicious. You could buy them and it helps support these girls and it gives you a delicious treat. And that's kind of part of what's gone on with their criticism. Some people said they're protesting Girl Scouts. They're not going to buy their cookies anymore. Lots of extreme radical stuff like that. And that's why I think this story is worth going over. The Girl Scouts on Wednesday night deleted social media posts congratulating conservative Justice ACB for her controversial appointment to the Supreme Court hours after the post sparked a wave of angry comments and some praise. Shame on Girl Scouts for promoting this. She represents the exact opposite of what we instill in our girls, one woman wrote in reply to Girl Scouts' Facebook post. I don't know what that means. I don't know how she instills the opposite. This is a very nice lady. She's very accomplished. She has a large, happy family. She has 7 kids, I believe. She's been on the courts for many generations. She teaches at higher education schools. I mean, she should be a role model for girls. I don't see what the problem is. Like, they just disagree with her politically. They call her a conservative, even though I don't know if she's ever been an outspoken politician. She's a judge who judges laws based on the precedent and based on the Constitution and the laws and the amendments and things like that. It's not actually as political as some people claim. Sure, it can get that way, especially on the Supreme Court when they're handing down rulings on big issues. But if it was done honestly and purely, even if they have a conservative or liberal value, they're really actually handing down verdicts based on the law. If they think the law says this should be allowed, then that's what the law says according to them. But they can't stand someone that's not all pro all their craziness. The backlash began right after the Girl Scouts Twitter and Facebook feeds featured an image showing photos of Barrett and the only 4 other women who have served as justices in the High Court. Those women include Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the liberal whose death last month opened the door for President Donald Trump to nominate Barrett for her seat. Congratulations, Amy Coney Barrett, on becoming the 5th woman appointed to the Supreme Court since its inception in 1789, the Post said, ending with an emoji of hands raised up. The post was replicated on the group's Facebook page, followed by a note saying Girl Scouts of the USA is a non-political, non-partisan organization. And I think they still are. Even the next line says it. It says, we are neither red nor blue, but Girl Scout green. We are here to lift up girls and women. And if you would like to debate partisan politics, keep scrolling, the Girl Scouts tweet said. And I think all this holds true. Congratulating a woman because you're on a woman organization, you're trying to support each other. You should support each other despite politics. If you're a pro-girl, pro-woman thing, it shouldn't be nixed because someone disagrees with you. I mean, she's still successful. You can't deny her prestige. You can't deny she's this monumental 5th woman on the Supreme Court. I mean, all of this is true. All of this happened. I don't know why everyone's getting up in a tizzy over this. It's just totally absurd. And it shows how the left really doesn't support women like they claim. They act like they're feminist and pro-girls and girl power, and they want to prop up women and bash men. But really, it's only women that agree with them. It's only women who go along with everything they say. That's not very pro-women. Like, if you were really doing it in an honest sense, you would support women even if they disagree with you. In fact, I would say you should support women who disagree with you. You would honor that and say, hey, you disagree, but I still support you. I'm still pro-woman. But Democrats are just too proud to pull that off. They're too dumb to realize how hypocritical that looks too. But the admonition did not stop a lot of women from weighing in on Barrett, whom liberals consider a threat to the Obamacare health law, abortion rights, and LGBT rights because of her conservative judicial philosophy. Democrats also have been angered, and the Senate quickly confirmed Barrett so close to next week's presidential election, 4 years after that Republican-controlled body refused to even hold hearings on President Barack Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court, ostensibly because 2016 was a presidential election year. This post is insanely tone-deaf from a female-centered organization to celebrate a woman who believes that we should have our rights stripped, wrote a female commentator on Facebook, one of more than 2,000 comments that were made an hour after the post. So this is just the article showing its bias. This is CNBC. They're obviously pro-left-wing. They hate ACB. This new judge is a threat to them. And it's only a threat because she's honest and a good judge who's not going to be biased for the left. She's not necessarily biased for the right, too. She's probably more in the middle even. Obviously, she's likely to be conservative-leaning. She's nominated by Trump. She has a big family. She's Christian. She does great things that are conservative value-driven, but she's also given neutral, unbiased takes and rulings in the court, and that's the problem. They don't want neutral. They want someone far left. They want someone going to the extreme, and that's why they lie about them. I mean, all this stuff. She's never going to talk about stripping rights. This is not happening. She doesn't have some kind of agenda to take away all this stuff. That doesn't even work that way. The judges just see the cases that are presented to them. I don't see any cases trying to stop these rules or take rights away from women. It's just absurd. It's just fear-mongering. It's just political hackery and people repeating crap and not knowing what they talk about. Another woman wrote, this is not an appointment to celebrate for women. She does not support women's rights at all. A third woman wrote of Barrett, she goes against so much of what Girl Scout stands for. Very disappointed in this. This appointment is nothing for girls or women to celebrate. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, she does support women's rights. She is a woman. She has female children. She is supporting the law. She's rolling down things as they play out in the court. It has nothing to do with stripping women's rights. I don't get it. There's not even that there. It's absurd. It's just this ridiculous suggestion from a totally insane far left who can't handle a woman who doesn't go along with liberal stuff. They wanted a feminist. They wanted another Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And what's hilarious about that is Ruth Bader Ginsburg is like as far left as they could be, and they treated her like a hero, and it was just because she was biased in their favor. So they don't want someone neutral. They don't want a good judge or a talented appointment. They want someone who will go in their favor. And that's what's really crazy. Another woman wrote, Amy Coney Barrett does not represent what I always thought the Girl Scouts stood for. As a former Girl Scout, this makes me incredibly sad. A respondent to the Girl Scouts Twitter post wrote, in one of more than 4,000 replies, I'm going to spend my $100 Girl Scout cookie budget on ingredients to make my own next year. So there's the part where people are starting to protest the cookies. This first person was incredibly sad. And I think that just shows how weak-willed they are. It shows how crazy the left is and how they're just so emotional. If this makes you incredibly sad, if you see a small post on a Girl Scout Twitter account and that ruins your day, that's on on you. That's you being weird, being weak, being too invested in Girl Scout groups, being too invested in extracurriculars for children. And it's just totally insane. I don't know why they think that their emotions give them more validity. It's kind of crazy how the left thinks that if they cry and scream and freak out more, it makes them more right, or we should listen to them. It's just them playing games, them trying to use emotional tactics, trying to get people to swing their way using emotions. This is like how girls cry to get their way, or scream or freak out or throw fits. That's all that's really going on here, and that's a basic left-wing staple. But the criticism of the post itself drew backlash. One woman who said she was a conservative wrote on Facebook, "I support the Girl Scouts organization because of the work they do to help empower girls and women. I support Girl Scouts because I saw the amazing growth in my daughter as a lifetime member. I didn't trash the Girl Scouts when I didn't agree with things that were against my beliefs. When other conservatives trashed Girl Scouts for leftist ideas, I defended it." So this is showing a person with more nuance, more adult-like thinking. You don't have to always agree with everything an organization you like says. You can have people that you're fans of, like a celebrity or a musician, and you not agree with all their politics. The idea that you have to be lockstep with everything, with everyone, is definitely extreme, and it shows how far the left has become. That about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Subscribe if you're new, hit the like button too, and until next time, have a great day.